Hi, thanks for joining me today. This focus of our video today is going to be a little bit for neck and shoulder tension, but also lower back. Those two kind of go together. If you have some tightness and tension in your shoulders, typically you have some tightness and tension in your lower back also. So we're going to do a little bit of both of those today. We're going to stay low to the ground. Initially, we're going to start seated. You can sit on a mat. If you are sitting on a mat or down on the ground, I suggest to have something to sit up on, a blanket or a firm cushion. You can also do this first part seated in a chair if you would like. So just start finding a nice long length in your spine. For those of you who are riders, who are equestrians, think of even weight in the sit bones, just as if you were sitting in the saddle. You can even lean a little forward, draw the flesh away from the sit bones so you can find that connection with your mat or with whatever you are seated on or with your chair. And then let the hands come out by your side, fingertips to the mat, and then just gently walk them a little back so you feel a little opening across the front of the chest. And Miss Coco is joining us today. Yes, thank you. Yes, you're very sweet. Good. So starting in this little position to get a little opening across the front of the chest, because we have a tendency to kind of slouch and round forward. So just starting there, and as you walk the fingertips back, just find a nice opening across the front of the chest. Think of drawing the lowest ribs down towards the hips, so we're not just flaring the ribs forward. Just thinking this nice opening through the collarbones. Nice couple breaths here, just focusing on your inhales and exhales. And just feel that opening in the upper chest. And think of the shoulder blades gently drawing towards the spine. And now bring the fingertips more so they're out by your side, directly out by the side, but still thinking of that nice opening across the collarbones. Inhale, turn the palms up, float the arms up and overhead. Fingertips extend up, energy through the crown of the head. And then exhale, turn the palms down, float the arms down by your side. So keep that going, just moving with the breath, just a few rounds of the sun breath so we get some movement in the shoulders. Inhaling and exhale. Good, once more like that. Inhale and exhale. And then bring the hands right out to the kneecaps. Fingertips just kind of drape down across the kneecaps. And we're going to start with a little movement for the spine, but focusing a little bit on the lower back. So as you inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, lift the heart and the sternum, take the gaze gently up. So we'll feel a nice stretch through the front of the body. And then as you exhale, round the spine, draw the belly in, take the gaze down towards the belly button. So feel that stretch now in the back of the body. So this is a seated cat-cow here. Pelvic tilt. Inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, lift the heart and the sternum, feel the stretch in the front of the body, and then exhale, rounding the spine, feel the stretch back of the body. So keep that going a couple more times. Inhaling and exhale. So just warming up through the spine here, through the shoulders, the neck, the lower back. So once more, inhale, find that nice length all the way up through the crown of the head. And then exhale, round the spine. This time as you inhale, just come back to neutral, finding that nice length right up through the crown of the head. Now bring the hands again out by your side. This time we're going to bring the arms to shoulder height, turn the palms to face forward, and then have a little soft bend in the elbows. So as we have that nice soft bend in the elbows, we're going to take a nice deep inhale, lengthen up. As you exhale, round the spine. So we do that same tipping of the pelvis, rounding the spine, take the gaze down, rounding the upper back. And then inhale, lift the heart and the sternum, draw the shoulders back, taking the gaze up, pelvis tilting forward. So keep that going again a few more times. Exhale, round the spine. Imagine you're hugging a great big tree. And then inhale, tilting the pelvis forward, lift the heart and the sternum, shoulder blades draw together, gaze up, or just gaze neutral if that feels better for your neck. Exhale, again, rounding the spine, couple more times, just warming up through the length of the spine and the upper back. Exhale and inhale. And then after this next exhale, we'll inhale and just come to neutral, float the arms all the way up and overhead, lengthen up through the crown of the head. And then exhale, release the hands down by your side. Take a breath. Inhaling and exhaling. So we're going to come onto our back. So whatever you were seated on, just move it off to the side, out of the way. Come to the end of your mat, and we'll do just a little, again, a little movement for the back to come all the way down. So end of your mat, feet hip distance apart, hands behind the thighs. Nice deep inhale, lengthen up to the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, begin to draw the belly in and slowly round the spine. Think of each vertebrae just gently lowering all the way down to the mat. Once you come down, just keep the knees bent. Feet to the mat initially to start with, hands comfortably down by your side. And just take your gaze up towards the ceiling. So you want to think of a neutral position here. So we're not tipping the head back with the chin jutting up. We're just in a neutral position. You feel yourself resting right on the back of the head. Fingertips reaching down towards the heels. And again, feet comfortable distance, thighs parallel with each other. And just take a moment, maybe close the eyes and notice the connection that your body is making with your mat. So notice the weight of your head and the weight of your shoulders, and notice if one shoulder feels heavier than the other, or if there's just a place that one shoulder feels like it sinks a little more into the mat than the other side. Just notice any differences. And then feeling the weight of the hips, same thing. Notice if one side feels different, one side feels heavier, just making a different connection. And then notice the soles of the feet on the earth. And then if it feels comfortable for you, you can extend the legs all the way out, legs straight. If that doesn't feel good for your lower back, just keep the knees bent. But again, if you extend the legs, just do a little check-in and see how the legs feel. Does one leg feel longer? Does one feel like the foot's turned out a little bit more? Do you feel, now that you've extended the legs, do the hips feel any different on your mat? Inhaling and exhaling. And then very gently let the eyes open. And if you have the legs straight, go ahead and bend the knees once again. This time with the heels directly underneath the knees. And then pick the feet up off the mat. Take hold of the tops of the knees with the hands. So the arms are straight, supporting the weight of the legs. The shoulders are still heavy on the mat, so still think of those shoulders releasing into the earth. And in this position, see if you can feel the natural curve of your lower back away from the mat, a little egg-shaped curve of the lower back. You might feel like if the back feels a little flattened, maybe see if you can press the knees a little away, or if you feel like there's a huge curve in the lower back. Again, we might need, as we move, you might notice that changing a little bit, bringing a little different sensation and alignment to the lower back. But we'll start with just a little, again, now the reclined version of that pelvic tilt that we were doing. As you exhale, bend the elbows, draw the knees a little toward you till you feel that curve in your lower back go away. Maybe feel the back press into the mat. And then as you inhale, straighten the arms, press the knees away until you feel that little curve come back. Or again, maybe it's a big curve for you right now, that's fine, but just notice the difference. And then exhale again, bend the elbows, draw the knees towards you. So again, we're doing that same thing that we were doing seated, but it's a much more subtle movement. And then inhale, press the knees away, feel that little traction for the legs, for the lower back, and then also that little pull of the shoulders too. So think of the shoulders being heavy. So exhale again, bend the elbows, draw the knees a little towards you, and then inhale, press the knees away. So now we're going to do a specific little movement for the neck and shoulders. So this time, draw the left knee towards you. Think of pressing the right knee a little away. As you feel that right knee press away, you'll feel a little stretch in the back of the right shoulder. And then as you do that, go ahead and roll your head to the left. So the left knee is coming towards you. You're rolling the head to the left. So you're feeling a stretch in the right side of the neck and that right shoulder. And then gently come back to neutral. So both knees back even, pointing up towards the ceiling. And now exhale, bend the right elbow, draw the right knee towards you. Think of pressing the left knee a little away. Feel that little stretch in the left shoulder. And then gently roll the head to the right. So feeling that stretch in the left side of the neck and the shoulder, left shoulder. And then once again, come back to neutral. So we'll do that a couple times. So again, Press the right knee away, draw the left knee towards you, roll your head to the left. And then inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, draw the right knee towards you, press the left knee away, roll your head to the right. So one more time each side. So notice where you're feeling that sensation in the neck and shoulders. Inhaling and exhaling. And then once again, come back to neutral with both arms straight. Again, feel that little curve of your lower back away from the mat. Notice if even that subtle little movement that we just did changed how that lower back is related to your mat. And then release both feet back down to the mat and bring the feet a comfortable distance from the hips. So don't have to be right underneath the knees. So just a comfortable distance from the hips. And then extend your arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing each other, and then take hold of opposite elbows. So we're making a little shape of a box right over the chest. Gaze gently up towards the ceiling. Take a nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, keeping your gaze towards the ceiling, very gently let both elbows release over towards the right. So just drawing the elbows to the right, just feel that nice stretch in the back of that left shoulder, gaze up towards the ceiling, and then inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, let the elbows release over to the left. Feel the stretch in the back of the right shoulder. And then once again, come back up to center. So now this time, as you exhale and let the elbows release to the right, go ahead and let your head roll to the right. So look to where that right elbow may be reaching down towards the mat. And then inhale, come back up to center. And then exhale, let the elbows release to the left and let the head roll to the left. So feeling the stretch in the back of that right shoulder and looking down towards that left elbow. And then inhale again back to center. Let's do that one more time. Exhale, as the elbows release to the right, let your head roll to the right. And then inhale back to center as your elbows release to the left, let your head roll to the left. And then inhale again back to center. So this time, as you exhale, let the elbows release to the right, but roll your head to the left. Gaze towards the left side of your mat. If your left shoulder gets in the way of your chin, just drop the left shoulder down. And then inhale back up to center. And then exhale, let the elbows release to the left and let your head roll to the right. Notice that sensation. And back to center. Again, do that one more time each side. Exhale, elbows to the right and the head rolls to the left. Heavy head, just let your head be heavy on the mat as you move it. And then inhale back up to center, elbows to the left, head gently rolls to the right. And then back to center. And then gently release the arms down by your side. And just for a moment, close the eyes, notice the connection of the shoulders with the mat. Once again, notice if it feels any different than when you first did that little check-in when we came down onto our back. Just notice. And then very gently let the eyes open. So once again, extend those arms up towards the ceiling. Take hold of opposite elbows. So as you take hold of opposite elbows this time, switch the elbow, the forearm that's on top. So if you do it just like you did last time, it'll probably be the same way that you did. So take the arm, that opposite forearm on top. And then now we're going to add some movement here for the legs. So feet, again, just a comfortable distance from the hips. So this is going to start to get the lower back into the movement also. So nice deep inhale. As you exhale, again, keep the gaze towards the ceiling. As you exhale, let your elbows release to the right and let your knees drop over to the left. And then inhale, come back up to center. And then exhale, let the elbows release to the left and the knees drop to the right. And back to center. So keep that going, just moving with your breath. It doesn't matter how far the elbows go or how far the knees go. It's just a sensation, just a movement. Inhale and exhale. So now start to change up the movement of the head and the neck. So as the elbows go to the right, go ahead and let your head roll to the right, knees to the left. And then inhale back up to center with everything. And then elbows and head roll to the left and knees to the right. And back up to center. So keep this going. Again, just moving gently with the breath. So think of the movement as you inhale. Let
At the end of your inhale, you should be back up to neutral. So think of it nice and slow, moving with your breath. And then as you exhale, let the exhale bring you all the way over into the movement. So try to take it nice and slow here. And then now the same thing again, changing the movement of the head and neck. So as your elbows now go one direction, roll your head the other direction. So the head goes the same direction as the knees. And then back up to center. And then elbows again one direction, and the gaze and the knees the opposite direction. So adding again some movement for the neck, the shoulders, and now up and down the length of the spine with this addition of the movement of the legs and that lower back. So do one more each direction. And then come back up to center. Release the hands again down by your side. And this time, again, if it feels comfortable for you, go ahead and extend the legs all the way out. Close the eyes for a moment. And again, feel the connection that the body's making with the earth. Again, feeling if there's any difference in how the shoulders or the hips or the lower back are connecting with your mat. There may not be, that's fine, but just notice if there is. And then once again, bend the knees, bring the feet back to the mat. And let's pick the feet up off the mat and take hold of the knees, again with the arms straight, and check in with that little natural curve, that lumbar curve in the lower back. Does it feel any different? And you find that little egg-shaped curve. If your back was a little flatter to the mat the last time, can you find that little egg? Or if it was a really big curve, is the curve a little less? Again, just notice. Inhaling and exhaling. And then very gently release the feet back down to the mat. And then just roll over onto one side. Press yourself up to a seated position. And then as you come into your seated position, one more time, let the hands rest on the thighs. Palms facing up. Again, feel this nice opening across the collarbones. Maybe bring the fingertips again out by your side. Walk the fingers a little back. Reestablish that opening in the chest, and then bringing the hands back to the thighs. Close the eyes for a moment. Notice how you feel. Notice the rhythm of your breath. And as you're ready, gently let the eyes open. So thank you for joining me today. I hope this was a beneficial video. Again, we have a tendency as a society to carry a lot of tension and tightness in the shoulders and the neck and also the lower back. And especially as we have done a lot more stuff online over the last couple of years, it has had a tendency to bring us into this kind of rounded position. So anything we could do to open up through the spine, and for those of you who are equestrians, definitely improving your position in the saddle. So thanks for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you sometime soon in the saddle or on the mat. Thanks. Bye-bye.